he reminds me of my boy. That's what you get. Like, oh, she reminds me of this girl that I know, because that's their life. Do you get what I'm saying? You can't preach to people that, you know, they know the gospel already, sort of thing. So, but the thing, I think what's important for us to take away from this is that, you know, we have to think of ways of solutions of reaching out to these young people that are involved in gangs, that are, or those that are about to, that, you know, that are endangered of, like, in danger of getting involved in gangs, and those are the, I think that's the more important thing.
Yeah, I just want to say it was a really good play. I've seen loads of plays on, like, you know, gun and knife crime, and they sort of borrow it up, but this is sort of one of the realest things I've seen. I just want to make a point about Charlie. Sorry, I don't know your name, but you had the sort of attitude of my dad when the teenage killings were going on, but then someone close to me was killed, and then you sort of like cut out that attitude, that the whole thing just cut out. I just want to know, where did you get, like, I don't know who directed it, but where did you get sort of like like, where did you get the attitude? Like, how did you find out how certain adults will react towards the killings?
It was just for me. It was personally. It was like I heightened it up, you know, because I try not to look. You know, it's not. I try not to look. I don't really pay much attention to it if it doesn't really affect me. If it was someone close to me, you know, but I've seen it a lot, so I try not to read the newspapers when I kind of like think it. So it was a kind of thing of this, like, taking that and heightening it up and trying to make him a little bit more selfish. He was a little bit more selfish. So it was, it was how people act in general when it comes to that. They don't really like read the news. Some people might not really read it and take it on, and I was just trying to heighten that. And
it seems to be like the adult males in the play seem, Charlie and the Reverend seem to be sort of slightly removed from or preoccupied with things in their lives. The Reverend's preoccupied with God and religion. You were preoccupied about getting your leg over all the time, and there was kind of, you know, they seemed to be so unaware. The emotive content of the play was in the young boys and the reality of their lives. I mean, as the author of the play, as the person who wrote it, what are you trying to say?
That I am the Charlie and Uncle most of the time as well, regarding knife crime and other issue. It just doesn't concern you, but when it's just, even when it's that close, you kind of just don't want to get into that, and you get into abstract prayers, etc. So that is pretty much the feeling that I had looking at inside myself as well. So that's where it's coming from. And it's also based on reality from my community. So I'm aware that I might not be very popular in my community with what the play is trying to deal with. But it is true that you have religious people preaching, etc. And you don't really have, there is help for some people, but there's this, you know, I'm trying just to show that aspect as well, that it could be a bit more connected to what we're actually doing. If it's about boys which are coming from our community, potentially, who are more at risk, so fair enough to have big conferences and churches and this, and that's good, but this is something that's really real and that's really impacting our community negatively. So what are we doing about that? So the characters just build up from real characters, or things that I read or something, but everything in the play, it's from something that is real. So that's why it said it's based on a true story. Not only because it's inspired by two boys who actually had a tragic life, but also from things from the community and things that I found, you know, that we can talk about.
And I think it points to the real lack of father figures within the community, like real father figures, you know, not just people. I think not what tends to happen, there's men that come around when things go wrong, but there's no, because I think fathers are the cornerstone of family, basically. Like, I'm very traditional in that way of thinking, but like a lot of these young guys grow up, like myself included, like grow up without their dad. Do you get what I'm saying? And they're not really taught how to be men, and so that is missing, and they go out and they behave. They don't really know how to conduct themselves because they've never really had a man there to show them, and I think the play touches on that also. And with the religious thing, I think that's just what happens. You know, you get that uncle who comes around, he prays, everyone prays for like 1 week. There's just this auntie, she moves in for 1 week and she's just praying for a week. And like, rather than actively getting out there and doing practical, after the prayer's done, like, I'm not saying don't pray, and I'm all for praying, but after the prayer's done, you need to actively get out there and do something as well.
You said that you
Peach. Salmon.
You said that you're a member of the police force, I don't know what exactly, but
the reason I was attracted to the plays, first and foremost, is that it's different. I hadn't heard of a play like this at all. It gives the chance for yourselves, everybody else, to see that police officers aren't just out there on the street arresting people. We do care what happens in our community. We do care about the kids out there. We do care about sending a message. That's, for me, that was ultimately what I got out of it and why I decided to be a part of this project.
Exactly.
Charlie.
Yeah, your character. It seemed as if you didn't really care about her too much, because you know in a club scene where I don't know what you and that girl behind that, but yeah, I don't understand. Did your character, was it meant to show that you didn't really care about her or something?
Yeah, it was this kind of show at the start that you didn't really see them in a relationship, and he was open. He was a bit of a player really, and then that kind of changed towards the end when he decided to go away with her. And then
So what happened with you?
That's another play.
Stop and search is a big bone of contention amongst certain groups. Some people agree with it, some people don't. I agree with it as long as it's used proportionately, like anything. A lot of kids that I deal with and stop say, why is it always the black kids getting stopped? Why is it always the kids getting stopped? And I tell them, unfortunately, it's because you are getting stabbed. You are our victims, you are our suspects. So unfortunately, they get stopped all the time. As long as, like I say, as long as it's used proportionately, then there's not a problem with it. I don't think the Met are using it disproportionately. I think obviously there are probably better locations we can use it in. But primarily, it's the only tool we've got really to find these knives, really, if you think about it. We've got kids who are walking on the street, people are being stabbed. How else do we find these knives unless we stop these kids? I regularly walk around and we have to use dogs to find weapons that kids have stashed in bushes, bins, drains, trees. They even go as far as digging up bits of dirt, burying underneath there and then covering the dirt back up. So how else do we find knives on kids?
I mean, that's a good thing to be having those measures, but it's like, from my research in the play, I haven't seen anything else than that. And I just try to put myself in the position of a teenager. If you're having threats of you getting in a gang or whatever, what kind of help do you get? I haven't found anything, and I dig it, and I found the websites and posters and this and that, and I've sent out email and stuff. I haven't received any reply. So there is, so I agree with the stop and search, etc. It has to happen, but it's like, if that's the only thing, I'm happy for anyone to tell me, there's actually this, and that. In the course of writing this for a year and digging and researching, I haven't seen anything else.
I can only
in
talk
terms of active help to get kids to actually not carry knives, etc. So it's.
I can only talk for the community that I work in. I know, in fact, at Croydon, they have members of the public, pastors, volunteers, of a night time walking through the town centre, speaking to kids. And this is a project started up in conjunction with the police, speaking to kids, asking what they're doing and who's got a knife, and just basically interacting with them. It's not about treating them as suspects. I know they won't talk to us, so the police have